Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is 4 Paws in a Book. I make bookish videos over here on my little corner of the internet, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below. Today I am here to make my predictions for SPFBO 9, Cassidy's version, Mel's Takeover. Alright, that was a mouthful, so let me explain what I am doing. If you were around my channel last year, I did SPFBO Cassidy's version, which is where a bunch of us read the finalists for SPFBO, or self-published fantasy blog off. It's a competition created by Mark Lawrence for a bunch of self-published fantasy books to be judged and critiqued, and one comes out a winner. I have a playlist for all of my SPFBO content, so I'll link it up above if you're interested in it. But anyway, last year for SPFBO 8, we did like a spin-off version of it where a bunch of us did the exact same thing. We judged them with the same rubric and came out with our own winner. It was a ton of fun and I was introduced to some really great books that will likely end up on my best books of the year. And this year we're doing it all over again. Now this year for SPFBO 9, Cassidy is an official judge and I got to be part of her team picking a semi-finalist. I have that linked up above if you want to go check that out. So I got to be part of like the official competition at the early stages, but now my job is done. But I still want to be involved. So we are doing the same thing. It's Cassidy's version, but Mel from Melanie Reads is taking it over. So there's a whole new group of people that are doing this. There's some from last year, but then we also have some new faces. Mel has a great video introducing all of us, so you should definitely check that out. I will link it down below. Today I am here to talk to you about the 10 books that are the finalists for SPFBO and kind of give you a predictions list about which one I think will be the best. Now last year I was completely off. Completely wrong. So, you know, I don't know if I'm any good at this, but we are going to predict them again. There are 10 books on this list and I will be reading them from now until April is technically the end of the competition. I would like to get them done before then, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis of them, but there will be Goodreads and Amazon links down below if you want to check them out. A lot of these books are on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have that and you want to read along with us, you can do that. So I'm gonna go up from 10 to number 1, so 10 being the one that I think I will score the lowest, to 1, the one that I think I will score the highest. Again, I'm really bad at this and I did horribly last year. The only one I got right was, I think, number 1. In the 10th place spot, I am going to be putting Hills of Heather and Bone by K.E. Andrews. Now, don't let this cover fool you. When I saw this cover, I thought it was going to be a cozy romance, and it's much darker. And the only reason why I'm putting this one in the 10th place spot is because it's actually one that I will likely not be reading due to some of the content warnings. There are a lot of content warnings in this one, specifically around mental health and depression. And if you know me, I can do a lot with books. Like, I don't have a ton of trigger warnings, but there is one, and that is any type of infant death or miscarriage, especially when it is related to mental health and like PTSD, and that is a content warning for this one. So likely will not be reading this one. I might read a couple of chapters just to kind of see what the writing style is like, but it's not one that I will likely be able to finish just given my mental health. In the number 9 spot, I have Cold West by Clayton W. Snyder, and I'm putting this one down here only because I am hesitant about the subgenre, and that's just because I haven't read it a lot. So this is a fantasy western, which is not something I'm super familiar with. I think I maybe have read 1 or 2 in my entire like adult reading career. I read a lot of like western type stories when I was in high school, and so this might end up really working for me. I don't know, but I don't have a lot of data to go off of for this one. The synopsis is super short, so I'm actually going to read this to you because I feel like it gives you a better description than I could like summarize. So, bastard, killer, husband, father, his wife cold in the ground, and 2 young boys to feed. Will Cutter turns to what he knows, violence. But a bounty is never just a bounty, and blood is never spilled in drops. Forced to ever more violent acts, he'll have to ask himself, is hell too far to ride? It's really short, it's really like to the point, and I'm kind of hoping that the writing style is the same in that kind of description where it's just very direct. I am a big fan of that type of writing style, so I don't know, this could really work for me, but like I said, I have no data to back it up. Hi, Schmidt.
We interrupt today's program to give you a poodle.
In the number 8 spot, I have The Last Ranger by J.D.L. Roselle. And this is a book that looks like it's going to have a very classic storyline. It's about a ranger who was betrayed and left for dead. And she has been tasked to ward against these spirit creatures. Tragedy strikes the ranger's lodge and she has to come up and bear arms again. She has some sort of magical ability, something that she has denied for years, and at this point, because it is a last resort, she is going to have to embrace that power. There are a lot of really high ratings on this book, so I am hopeful about it, but it's not one that I necessarily gravitated towards when I was looking at the like the semifinalists and the finalists that were chosen. It's not one that like immediately grabbed my attention, so I'm hoping to be surprised by this one. In the number 7 spot, I actually struggled with this one because I really wanted to put this one higher. I think this has the potential to be amazing, but there's actually so many of these top 10 that I'm really excited about that this is where it fell. But in the number 7 spot, I have The Fall Is All There Is by C.M. Kaplan. This feels like it's going to be a political fantasy, and if you know me, if you know my taste, you know that this could really work for me. It's got a lot of sibling dynamics to it. So this is about a man who is the youngest of 4 quadruplets, and he is a prince. The line to succession is a little murky because, you know, quadruplets, but also the youngest. It's a whole thing. The king has died, and now we're about to have a civil war because, again, line to succession, murky. If our main character is going to avoid said civil war, he's going to need to avoid one sibling who's trying to take him hostage, try to win back the trust of another sibling, and also get an audience with a sister that he has not spoken to in 5 years. So that'll be fun. I absolutely love the last line of the Goodreads synopsis that says, "Family reunions can be a special form of torture." And I don't know, this book sounds really good, and like as I'm saying it, I'm like, maybe I should have moved it up. I don't know. I'm just really excited about a lot of these books. In the 6th spot, I have one of the cozies. There are a couple of cozy fantasies on here, and again, I'm kind of excited about them. Like, cozy fantasy can be really hit or miss, so it's either gonna really work or it's really not. We'll just have to see. But this is Murder at Spindle Manor by Morgan Stang. And this is like an Agatha Christie meets Supernatural. And I'm kind of here for this. So this is about a woman who shows up at a hotel. Now, I've watched a couple of people who have read the first chapter of this, and it sounds really interesting because the person like in charge of the hotel is this like faceless doll, which is creepy. So I don't know, maybe we have some horror elements to it. So there is a beast that is mimicking the residents of this hotel, and so there are 10 people staying at the hotel, and the beast could be any one of them. At some point in the book, someone's gonna die, as is pretty common with Agatha Christie type murders. It's gotta be one of these 10 people or one of the 9 people left, and so it's gonna be our job and our main character's job to figure out who it was. I'm actually really excited about this one because it kind of feels really different from everything else that's on this list, and I feel like it's going to be a really good change of pace. In my number 5th spot, there are definitely some buzzwords to this one, and this is The Last Fang of God by Ryan Kirk. The tagline on this is, "When the gods refuse to die, it's the humans that suffer." This book is about our main character who really just wants to live on his own. He wants to go live in the peaceful fields and not be bothered by people. Of course, that's not what's going to happen. Chaos erupts when his daughter is actually called up by his old master, and they have no choice but to leave the safety of the home that they've created. But the sins of the past cast long shadows. The gods and the humans alike are warring for dominance. Our main character, who wanted nothing but peace, is forced to draw his sword again. In the number 4 spot is one that I've actually talked about before. I haven't read it yet, but it is supposedly on this month's TBR. Will it get read this month? I don't know. But that is Daughter of the Beast by E.C. Graves. This book is steeped in Slavic tradition and lore, and it's about this girl who her village is plundered and raided, and she is brought back to like basically train and learn how to be a warrior. The synopsis calls it a coming of age story, and I really think it's going to be this feminist tale. It says it blends action and adventure with themes of belonging, identity, destiny, and a girl's place in a harsh and uncaring world built by men and for men. And I don't know, that synopsis just says something to me and it speaks to me, and I really hope it's gonna be good. Coming in at the number 3 spot, and this one was the dark horse, the surprise as far as my predictions, because when I just saw the cover, I was not super excited about it because I was like, oh, it's another cozy fantasy romance. But when I read the synopsis, I was like, this is gonna be a fun time. And that is A Rival Most Vile by R.K. Ashwick. First off, let's talk about this. It's gay, okay? It's queer. It's the only queer book, like openly queer book, on this list of finalists, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I'm rooting for this one. And this is literally about two potion shops owners that are rivals. So we have one guy that is like the well-known established shop as people go off on their quest. It's kind of like the little cafes or the bar that you go to at the end of your D&D quest. So he's the established one, but then we have a new one that comes in. Within weeks, they are locked in a war of price tags and product. This is going to be a true rivals to lovers fantasy romance. And honestly, again, it's a change of pace book, and I am weirdly excited about this book. And I am truly excited about this book. It's very different from anything else that's on this list, and I'm here for this. In my number 2 spot is The Wickwire Watch by Jacqueline Hagan. And this one has gained a lot of popularity recently since becoming a finalist, and I'm really, really happy for it. That's kind of the whole point of this competition, is to get more eyes on these books. And so I'm really happy that for this one it is working for sure. This book is about a man who's got some plucky charm. He's a pickpocket. He dodges the law. He's that kind of character. Then he finds out some things that he's not supposed to know, or that he shouldn't have found out. If only he hadn't have snooped around a dead man's house. If only he hadn't found that pocket watch full of magic. And if only he knew that there were specters and ghosts that might potentially be out to kill him. Thrust into a world of arcane horrors and powerful politicians, there are dangers all around. This one just sounds like it's going to be so much fun. There's a lot that seems to be going on in the synopsis, but I am really, really excited about this one. And again, it's gained a lot of popularity, so like I feel like there's a little bit of hype around it. In the number 1 spot, I'm actually putting the book that Cassidy put forward as the finalist in her round. So this is the book that beat out my semi-finalist, so hopefully it's going to be good. And that is Master of the Void by Wind Raven. I feel like Cassidy and I have pretty similar taste. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but like it's close. So I really trust her, and I know that she really, really liked this book. This is a book where everyone around our main character has magic, and our main character is the only one who doesn't. So it's kind of like a reverse Chosen One, which I love when tropes are just like twisted and thrown on their heads. There's a school setting at this one, which again, I really, really love fantasy schools, and so I'm excited for that. As we go along, Ormond is going to have to find his place in this dark, scary world before the looming evil destroys everything. It also sounds like there's going to be a lot happening in this one. There are swashbuckling sea voyages and magical heist and budding friendships and even maybe a little romance. I'm really hoping that since this book kind of beat out my semi-finalist, that it is just an excellent, fantastic book. All right, so those are the books that are the 10 SPFBO finalists for this year. The competition runs from now, well, it's been since like the summer until now, and so the finalists are from now until the end of April, and then the official one will be announced probably sometime in April. It just kind of depends on when all the blogs finish their reviews, but like I said, I will be doing a couple of vlogs where I will be reading these, much like I did last year, and we'll see how it goes, because I'm really excited about so many of these books. I have been really, really careful not to look at any of the reviews. We have a Discord going with all of the like people that are in our group, and so I've been trying not to look at like spoiler notes or anything like that for any of these, and went with my predictions completely based off of the synopsis as I was reading them. I just kind of put them in their places. So that being said, I could be very, very wrong, but let me know down in the comments if there is one of these 10 that you are really excited for, and if you're not feeling chatty, do a snowflake emoji. That's all I have for you today. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there is a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!